Alright, let's see if this is better server.
Magic is my speciality.
So let's test
How
this
can
out.
I help you?
Whoa, this is good.
But I cannot blame you. I should have made you a better.
Alright, now let's go back to the Vivek temple. Actually, I should maybe... teleport there. This is the prime reason why I love Morrowind. The spells are freaking incredible. Oblivion is alright, but I don't like the... well, the aesthetics of it.
Did you convince Tanusea Veloth to leave Vivek City?
Yes, I did, and let me just mark this place just before, just in case we need. So we have a long journey now. We cannot talk to anybody. It's pretty okay with teleportation. We don't have to engage with anybody. Except cliff racers, but I will avoid them. Alright, I have to... yeah. I plan to go there by the west coast. Sorry, I cannot fight you. I said I will take the west coast, but I'm going straight to north. Let's go to west coast. Maybe guards can help me over here. Hello, can you please help me? I have a few thanks. These targets are a green bunch, no fun. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. Oh my god. I like how... Oh, hello. Fuck, I would like to buy some repair tools, but I cannot speak to anybody. I don't know where you can like find them on the wild, so... Damn. Will take something like 10 to 15 minutes to do. And I will actually, because, hold up. Once again, I am taking the render distance. I cannot decide what is good or what is bad at the moment. Yeah, I see still some pop-ups. Maybe this is better. Oh fuck. What fort is that? Andasreth, alright. Oh, okay. Oh fuck. Alright. Let's collect them all. Just come over here. Yeah, come over here. Alright. 3. Whoa, that's some bright sun there. Hello. Oh, you too. You come as well, yeah. The guard doesn't know what to do. Let's get more guards. Do we have more guards over here? Come on. Only one guard? What the hell? What the... Only one guard on the whole. Oh, this is Old Veloti, so it's a fishing town. So there's not gonna be needed anymore. Much of a guarding, I guess. Oh my god. Oh, hello, Mr. Red. Oh, hello. Oh, Nick's Hound as well. Okay. Let's go back to the town and have some festives. So, not... Oh, 2. Okay. The normal amount. Any guards here? Oh. Hello, Mr. Guard. I have been targeted by set group of... Yep.
Is there something you need?
I like how he's looking the hound like, what? There's only one guard? Okay.
I've got my eye on you, Outlander.
Yeah, after this incident, I'm sure you do. To be honest. Whatever. I just don't like sometimes the popping up effect, but you know, you can't do anything about that. That's how the engine works. I guess you can tweak it in the configs that how the things pop up. Let me actually search. Let me tweak it. Now let's see. Now there should be less pop-ups. Oh, there was some pop-ups. There's something hovering in the... Ah. Finally. Silence has been added. 32 lessons, 4 suitors, lessons of Vivek. Alright.
Speak with me again when you are a curate in the temple. Until then, you may ask Thara Rotherloth in Molag Nord or Tuls Valen at the Aldrun Temple for duties.
The scripture of the word, first, all language is based on meat. Do not let the sophists fool you. Second, The third walking path explores hysteria without fear. The efforts of madmen are a society of itself, but only if they are written. The wise may substitute one law for another, even into incoherence, and still say he is working within a method. This is true of speech and extends to all scripture. Third, do not go to the realm of apology for absolution. Beyond articulation, there is no fault. The adjacent place where the grabbers live is the illusion of the vocal or the middle realms of thought, by which I mean the constructed. This is how I stole the certainty of the Chancellor of Exactitude, perfect to look upon from every angle. When you come out of the vocal, you can never be certain. Fourth, the truest body of work is made up of silence, as in the silence that results from no reference. By the word I mean the dead. Fifth, the first meaning is always hidden. Sixth, the realm of apology is perfection and impossible to attack, thus the wise avoid it. Trinity in unity as the world and word of action, the third walking path. Seventh, the sage who suppresses his best aphorism, cut off his hands, for he is a thief. Eighth, the clothes of the broken map are worn only by fools and heretics. The map is an exit for laziness. It is the dusty tongue, which is to say the given chart, that most take as a story that is complete. No word is true until it is eaten. The ending of the words is Almsivi.
Interesting.
Then came the war with the northern men, where Vivek did guide the Hortator into swift and tricky union with the Dwemer. The greatest demon chieftains of the frigid west were those listed below, 5 in unholy number. Hoaga, the mouth of mud, who appeared as a great bearded king, had the powers of marshalling and breathing the earth. On the battlefields, this demon would often be seen on the sidelines, eating the soil voraciously. When his men fell, Hoaga would fill their bodies back with it, whereupon they would rise again and fight, albeit slower. He had a secret name, Fenja, and destroyed 17 Chimeri villages and 2 Dwemeri strongholds before being turned away. Chemua, the running hunger, who appeared as a mounted soldier with full helm, had the powers of heart roaring and of sky sickening. He ate the Chimeri hero, Dres Kizumeti, sending the spirit back to the Hortator as an assassin. Sometimes called First Blighter, Chemua could give clouds stomach aches and turn the reign of Veloth into bile. He destroyed 6 Chimeri villages before he was slain by Vivek and the Hortator. Bahag, the two-tongued, who appeared as a great bearded king, had the powers of surety and form change. His raiders were small in number, but ran amok in the west hinterlands, killing many Velothi trappers and scouts. He fell in a great debate with Vivek, for the warrior poet alone could understand the northern man's 2-layered speech, though Almsivi had to remain invisible during the argument. Barfok, made of plains, who appeared as a winged human with lick-encrusted spear, had the powers of event denouement. Battles fought against her would always end in victory for Barfok, because she could shape outcomes by singing. 4 Chimeri villages and 2 more Dwemeri strongholds were destroyed by her decision enforcement. Vivek had to stuff her mouth with his milk finger to keep her from singing Veloth into ruin. Ysmir, the dragon of the north, who always appears as a great bearded king, had powers innumerable and echoing. He was grim and dark, and the most silent of the invading chieftains, though when he spoke, villages were uplifted and thrown into the sea. The Hortator fought him unarmed, grabbing the dragon's roars by hand until Ysmir's power throat bled. These roars were given to Vivek to bind into an ebony listening frame, which the warrior poet placed on Ysmir's face and ears to drive him mad and drive him away. The coming forth and the driving away brings all things around. What I shall say next is unpleasant to record. Hermamora Altadun, Altadun. The ending of the words is Almsivi. Then came the war with the north.
Interesting.
Up until he was 10 years old, Owen Parnafakasis was in an elite group of the very best families of Gnisis. They went to the very best tailors, shared the same tutors, played in the same exclusive company. When his mother died and his father discovered that the money they had been living on was based on a thief's salary, he suddenly found himself on a very different kind of society, one that he had been ill-equipped to deal with. They were poor. Owen eventually learned to make a living at the only skill he seemed to be well suited for: gardening. In time, he had grown an impressive garden of willow anther, gold cannet, chokeweed, white bloatroot, and trauma shrubs. He had also grown himself into a remarkably uninteresting man. Aside from his gardening, he had little to say for himself: unlearned, uncharismatic, unathletic, uncoordinated. And yet he yearned. Specifically, he yearned for a girl he had known before all his trouble, a sweet thing with curly locks and a joyous laugh, named Benita Gorgoth. Once, when at play, he had pushed a bully away who was trying to hurt her, and the look of appreciation she gave him was enough to make all his days since then worth their while. As he tended his garden one springtide, not very many years ago, he heard some people talking through the thick, tall trauma shrubs about the marriage of Sedura Indoril Pavflek Mamuna, one of the wealthiest and most respected nobles in Gnisis, and Seryo Benita Gorgoth. His heart fell. She had found another a mere 9 years since she had given him that look while at play. As spring turned into summer and summer into fall, Owen began to sell his herbs, including some to Kina Yakin Bael, a prominent healer in town. He'd been a tutor to both Benita and Owen, and told the young man that the lady's husband was not very well. Owen held back his happiness and continued on his errands. Not long afterwards, Sedura Indoril Pavflek Mamuna fell ill and died, despite all the skills of the great healers, including Yakin Bael. When Owen came to deliver the herbs that day, he said, "If you are still in communication with Benita, please give her my sympathies." "Ciao," said Yakin. "If I could get a word in with all her counselors. They are trying to find her a new husband, and she has made it clear that she will only marry the strongest man in Morrowind." "Who is that?" asked Owen. "Horath the Strong," replied Yakin. "It is said that he can lift a wagon with but his forefinger and thumb." "You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own strength," said Owen. "I beg you to teach it to me now." "Very well," replied Yakin, "but in return, I want your next season's worth of trauma root, all to myself." Owen agreed, and Yakin taught him the spell to fortify his strength. It took him some time to master it, visualizing magicka streaming through his body, pumping through the very fibers of his muscles for a time, giving him strength far beyond the puny power nature had intended. When Owen met Horath on the street of Gnisis, he cast the spell and challenged him to a duel of strength. "I am Horath the Strong," said Horath the Strong, predictably. "Witness as I lift this wagon with but my thumb and forefinger," and he did so. "I am Nimlom the Mighty," said Owen, taking some artistic liberty. "Witness as I lift the stable that houses your wagon with but my forefinger," and he too did so. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The strongest man alive was in the province. Owen went to visit his friend, Yakin Bael. Her lady Benita has heard of the strength of Nimlom the Mighty, and has said that she was mistaken. She was not looking for a man of strength to marry, but a man of intelligence, a great scholar, the greatest in all Morrowind. "Who's that?" asked Owen. "Kina Warfell Thomasin," replied Yakin. "It is said that he can best any man or woman in a battle of wits." "You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own intelligence," said Owen. "I beg you to teach it to me now." "Very well," replied Yakin, "but in return I want your next season's worth of white bloatroot, all to myself." Owen agreed, and for the next couple of weeks Yakin taught him the spell and trained him in its use. He taught him how to entrench his mind for the sudden assault of awareness and aptitude that would assail it, how to give himself to the sudden thoughts and theorems that would invade his consciousness. When he met Warfell Thomasin in the Mages Guild of Gnisis, he cast his spell and gave the challenge. I am Kena Warfell Thomasin, and I can prove that Akatosh, Nirn, and Oblivion are one, said Warfell, writing out the mathematical formula that showed it was so. I am Kena Zombel Mokafa, and I can prove that you do not exist, said Owen. He wrote out the mathematical formula which proved correct, and Kena Warfell Thomasin vaporized on the spot. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The most intelligent man alive was in the province. Owen went to visit his friend, Yakin Bael. Her Lady Benita has heard of the intelligence of Kena Zombel Mokafa and has said that she was mistaken. She was
Oh
not
my
looking for a
fucking
man of
god.
intelligence to marry,
Owen is gonna be so
but a man of
poor.
endurance, a rock, the greatest in all Morrowind. Who is that? Asked Owen. I would say Master Kombova, said Yakin. They say he can stand in blue flames for 20 minutes. You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own endurance, said Owen. I beg you to teach it to me now. Very well, replied Yakin, but in return I want your next season's worth of chokeweed, all to myself.
He's gonna be so poor.
Owen agreed, and for the next several weeks he learned the spell to make his endurance like that of the oldest stone. He learned how to shrug off the effects of frost, poison, fire, and charges of lightning, pulling the pain into a reservoir of magicka and expelling it. The lesson learned, he came across Master Kombova at the Madak trade house. My name is Master Kombova, said the fellow, nudging the witch next to him. Kena Leles, cast a ball of blue flame for me. And he sat in the inferno of flame for 20 minutes before he left. Master Kombova, my name is Master Vomf, said Owen. Kena Leles, cast a ball of blue flames for me. Owen sat in the inferno of blue fire for very nearly an hour before he left. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The toughest man alive was in the province. Owen went to visit his friend, Yakin Bael. Her Lady Benita has heard of the endurance of Master Vomf, he said, not entirely approving of Owen's latest sobriquet, and has said that she was mistaken. She was not looking for a man of endurance to marry, but a man of agility, a nimble acrobat, the greatest in all Morrowind. Who is that? Asked Owen. I would say Funkrazo Prief, said Yakin. They say he is the greatest shield blocker and pickpocket in Morrowind.
I
You can
think
teach me a spell that
Yakin
will
Bael
fortify my own agility,
fucking
said
with Owen.
Owen. I beg you to teach it to me now. Very well, replied Yakin.
He
But
wants
in
the
return,
crops.
I want your next season's worth
He's
of
making
gold
these things
canon,
up.
all to myself. Owen agreed, and Yakin taught him the spell that would fire his impulses with magicka. Over several weeks he learned how to supplant his own natural energy with the spells, how to view the world at the slower pace a man with advanced agility sees. In time, Owen came upon Funkrazo in a field outside the city, doing his regular exercises. Owen cast his spell and approached the acrobat. Ah, behold the power of the amazing Funkrazo Prief, said the aforementioned, and prompted his sparring partner to attack him with his sword. He blocked the blows effortlessly with a shield for 10 minutes, and then revealed afterwards that he had picket-pocketed the young man's purse. Very impressive, Sir Prief. Now behold the power of the remarkable Gazoof Mao, said Owen, and prompted Prief's sparring partner to attack him with his sword. After 20 minutes of blocking the man's blows with his shield, he revealed that he had pickpocketed Funkrazo Prief's purse. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The most agile man alive was in the province. Owen went to visit his friend, Yakin Bael. The door was closed this time, and he heard voices within. Have you heard about the remarkable Gazoof Mao? Yakin Bael was asking. He sounds like a very promising suitor. The truth is, Kena, that I have no more interest in him than I had in Nimlom the Mighty, Kena Zombel Mokafa, or Master Vomf, replied a feminine voice that seemed familiar to Owen. I will have to invent a new test for suitors, while I search for my true love. You don't wish to marry the strongest, most intelligent, toughest, most agile suitors? Asked the old healer. No, not at all, said the woman. I had to make some kind of test to rebuff the advances of so many men interested in my money and the money of my late husband. The truth is that I've never forgotten the young boy who was so kind to me when I was a little girl.
Oh,
and so brave
fuck.
fighting off the bullies. His name was
Oh,
Owen Parnafakasi.
that's fucked up.
Owen burst into the room and was reunited with Benita. They were married at once. A week later, he returned to Yakin Bail and learned how to fortify his personality in exchange for next season's worth of willow anther. Then they lived happily ever after.
Oh, well, okay. But in that case, that was nice. But I was thinking that the guy was fucking with him and making excuses of what the girl wants. But I guess I was wrong. Now, since what we are, Acolyte. Oh, Initiate. I think I'm gonna train some unarmored. Wait a minute. Yep. Gonna train it to somewhere to. Actually, mysticism is 44, so it's over. And my Discord was doing some stuff, so one skill at 30, two skills at 5, but there are 5. Should I like boost this up? I will boost the alchemy up at least because I need or it's for the temple as well. Yes. I need to make some potions.
Why walk when you can ride?
Yep.
There is one less necromancer here in Vardenfell thanks to you.
Which one of you trains alchemy? You? Yes.
Ajira knows that you are a good friend of Ajira.
Nothing gets you there faster than
Please,
magic.
feel free to talk at your leisure.
Oh, I have 3 of these. Oh my god. I just need 1. Well, I cannot make nothing yet. Is there anything else what I can drop? Oh yeah, these books.
I've heard of you, said the old vagabond, very impressed. Aren't you the adventurer who slew all those ash vampires in Ghostgate a couple of months back? That I am, said Aristian Silverthorn, with a weary smile for his admirer. He knew that his name was not yet legendary, and it was best to be polite. And you are? My name would have no meaning to you, but I'm Era Darathil, he said, raising a glass of grief. I hail from the region of Ghostgate, which is how I heard your name. Are you on an adventure as we speak? Yes, said Silverthorn, with a grim expression. I'm challenged to rid the Grayslands of a rogue battle mage by the name of Igro Amaro. I've heard
Quickly
of him
gonna
as
put
well,
my
said Darathil.
phone to
He is said
charge.
to be
Gonna be
very
right back.
powerful, an implacable foe. That is why I'm drinking now, sighed Silverthorn. So tell me, what is your profession? I do nothing, said Darathil with some measure of pride. But in my youth, I used to teach the skills of illusion at the University of Gwilym. Perhaps you can help me then, said Silverthorn, suddenly excited. Can you teach the spell Silence? I can certainly pay you. I know that spell, said Darathil. You might find invisibility very helpful as well, or perhaps darkness, which would allow you to sneak up on old Egro Amaro. No, said Silverthorn firmly. I only have time to learn one spell. I have to kill Egro Amaro, collect the award, and be back in Nisis as quickly as possible. My wife worries when I'm away. Darathil agreed, and as the two settled back in their seats at the corner club and tossed back glasses of grief, the old man shared his knowledge of the spell. He explained what it truly meant to bend sound, creating a cone of silence as glass can bend light. He had Silverthorn close his eyes while he tapped the side of his glass, making him picture the sound as the physical entity it was before it was extinguished. The adventurer, after a few hours of instruction, paid the old teacher and set off on his way. In Duragnon, Egroamaro's stronghold was not far from Sadrith Mora, and he soon saw the blight and ruin that was the battle mage's calling card. Delving into the depths of the ruins, Silverthorn was set upon by the servitors of Egroamaro, living and undead. With his enchanted ebony blade, he cut through legions before facing the master himself in the desolate main hall. Egroamaro bowed to his adversary sardonically, and then prepared to unleash a fireball to incinerate him. Before he had uttered the first word of the spell, he suddenly found that all the creaking and sighing of the ruins around him had been stilled. He opened his voice to speak, but there was no sound. Silverthorn took his time, strolling across the length of the hall before dispatching the battle mage with one stroke of his blade. The adventurer rushed back to the tribunal temple where he had received his quest, accepted the gold and the thanks, and was back in his house in Gnesis but a few days later. His wife, Lyra, was beside herself with worry. All I could do night after night is toss and turn. I kept imagining you burned to ashes by that battle mage, and where would that leave me? Do we have enough gold that I could support myself if you, St. Serin let it not be so, were killed during one of these jaunts? I don't think so. Why couldn't you get a nice position at the Fighters Guild right here in town? I hear they're looking for a trainer for the Imperial Guard. I know, you want a life of adventure and danger and freedom, but if you'd only take one moment to think of me, stuck here all by myself, worrying about you. I suppose you'd like it if I took more of an interest in your work, but it's like I was telling Sir Calissa Vignum the other day. I said, Calissa, what good is a husband? Lear continued to talk, deaf to the fact that her words were dead before they left her mouth. Silverthorn smiled and nodded his head, enjoying the silence. He could have killed Egroamaro without the spell, he considered, but he could not have survived his wife.
Oh, right, I'm back. Hello, Sampach. How you're doing? Happy New Year.
Please, feel free to talk at your leisure.
Yeah, hello, Whitman.
You helped Ajira, but I cannot blame you. I should have made you a better offer.
I do remember you. Okay, now what I was doing? Oh yeah.
I have the finest spells in town.
I've been fine. Doing work and now been streaming almost every weekend on different type of games, and today I decided to stream some. I've been streaming some Morrowind.
Magic is my speciality. How can I help you?
Got a blackout what I was doing. Oh yeah. So my alchemy is up. Very good.
How nice. I like good company. What can I do for you?
Let's go sell some stuff.
Teleportation is the only civilized way to travel.
Ah, welcome, friend.
You seem to be fitting.
Sorry guys, I have to go to the scamp.
There's a profession worthy of absolutely nothing.
Okay. Okay, let's see. That I will save. Do I have anything to sell actually? No.
There are many creatures beyond the cities. Good. There are many creatures.
Actually, let's go to Balmora and for Caius Cosades and see what he has.
Are you interested in purchasing something?
Teleportation is the only civilized way to travel.
You helped Ajira, but I cannot blame you. I should have made you a better offer.
I'm a sleeper among thousands. Alright. Yes, 363 is still a thing, but we are waiting until more further updates are coming before we start to do any actions in the game. Basically, we are like making sure that the game is going on the direction that it's suitable for getting back into the clan action. So new recruitments are not really happening at the moment. But when the game gets into state that it's more like going up and things like that, it is going up. But whenever we see that there's more compelling updates for stability and bugs and things like that, I cannot talk about for the whole unit perspective, but that's what I've seen or heard.
I've thought it over, and I want you to interview 3 informants in Vivec City concerning the Nerevarine and the 6th house.
Roger. Hassul Saitsupani. Trader. Gift. Okay. Aldrun. Aldscar Inn. Okay. Actually, let me mark this place so we can teleport here. Yeah, that's true.
Find out what Zainsubani likes and get him a gift.
Yes, Outlander, what do you want?
But we were popping with some members with Anwald and Hans and Haas, I guess it was. Yeah, I mean, no need to hurry up. Like in that, we are not really like full on yet. The game needs to have some actual updates before we start to.
Give me a bandit raid or blighted monsters to slay, anything.
Well, I just pulled out some few wild animals in. You joined the army? Okay.
Go ahead, Outlander. What do you need?
This warm blood has questions.
Downstairs. Are you in infantry or are you in armor or mechanized or are you medic or I don't know if you can even talk about that stuff, but
Yes, Outlander. What do you want?
wait a minute. Saisun Pani. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Please, have a look around.
I've got my eye on
Oh, him.
All right, I'm listening.
Arty Observer, okay.
I must be going, so if you could make it quick.
That's fun to check out when where the cells land.
Was looking at me. How can I tell her I'm not interested?
Poetry. Okay.
Yes. What is your business with me?
Are you a platoon commander now? Wait, how fast did you rank up? Or did you went as a private and then to NCO school and then to cadet school and then you're now platoon commander? Maybe the trader has. Oh, books are.
Keep moving, Outlander.
Ah, you're still a private, okay. Words of the Wind. I hope this is alright.
I've got my eye on you, Outlander. I've got my eye on you, Outlander.
Alright, that's nice.
Welcome, my friend. Did you wish to ask about the Ashlanders and the Nerevarine cult? Or was there some other business you have with me?
I shouldn't.
Ah, yeah, so you're like second in command, basically.
Move along, Outlander.
Let's see if this is enough.
Did you speak with Hasur Zainsubani yet?
Yes, I did. Let's up the speedcraft while we are here. Yeah, see you, Whitman. See you. And join in the Discord if you need, and we can meet there and talk more. So I have to go to Ursilaku camp, which is next to Cool.
Why walk when you can ride? Where would you like to go?
So who's against me now? Päästä uusilla kun käy.
Make it quick, Outlander.
Zabamund. Askanjurt, okei.
Talk. So, my champion Zabamund has sent you to talk with me about the Nerevarine prophecies. Then go ahead, Outlander. Talk. I'm very curious.
Southeast, okei. There we go. hurt just a tiny bit. I could sell these, but they weigh kind of a lot. Cheesing the enemies. Also, I cannot chase myself to the toilet. Gonna be right back. All right. Oh, I have to check if the bow is one of these corpses. Nope. Nope. And no. Skooma, alright. Alright, nothing here.
The great sage was a tall, untidy man, bearded but bald. His library resembled him. All the books had been moved over the years to the bottom shelves where they gathered in dusty conglomerations. He used several of the books in his current lecture, explaining to his students, Taksim and Volguldak, how the Mages Guild had first been founded by Vanus Galerian. They had many questions about Galerian's beginnings in the Sigic Order and how the study of magic there differed from the Mages Guild. It was and is a very structured way of life, explained the great sage. Quite elitist, actually. That was the aspect of it Galerian most objected to. He wanted the study of magic to be free. Well, not free exactly, but at least available to all who could afford it. In doing that, he changed the course of life in Tamriel. He codified the praxes and rituals used by all modern potion makers, item makers, and spell makers, didn't he, Great Sage? Asked von Guldak. That was only part of it. Magic, as we know it today, comes from Vanus Galerian. He restructured the schools to be understandable by the masses. He invented the tools of alchemy and enchanting so everyone could concoct whatever they wanted, whatever their skills and purse would allow them to, without fears of magical backfire. Well, eventually he created that. What do you mean, Great Sage? Asked Taksim. The first tools were more automated than the ones we have today. Any layman could use them without the least understanding of enchantment and alchemy. On the Isle of Artaeum, the students had to learn the skills laboriously and over many years. But Galerian decided that was another example of the Sigic's elitism. The tools he invented were like robotic master enchanters and alchemists, capable of creating anything the customer required, provided he could pay. So someone could, for example, create a sword that would cleave the world in twain, asked von Guldak. I suppose, in theory, but it would probably take all the gold in the world, chuckled the Great Sage. No, I can't say we were ever in very great danger, but that it isn't to say that there weren't a few unfortunate incidents where an unschooled yokel invented something beyond his ken. Eventually, of course, Galerian tore apart his old tools and created what we use today. It's a little elitist, requiring that people know what they're doing before they do it, but remarkably practical. What did people invent? Asked Taksim. Are there any stories? You're trying to distract me so I don't test you, said the Great Sage, but I suppose I can tell you one story just to illustrate a point. This particular tale takes place in city of Alinor on the west coast of Somerset Isle and concerns a scribe named Thorbad. This was in the Second Era, not long after Vanus Galerian had first founded the Mages Guild, and chapter houses had sprung up all over Somerset, though not yet spread to the mainland of Tamriel. For 5 years, this scribe, Thorbad, had conducted all his correspondence to the outside world by way of his messenger boy, Gorgos. For the first year of his adoption of the hermit life, his few remaining friends and family of his dead wife, truth be told, had tried visiting, but even the most indefatigable kin gives up eventually when given no encouragement. No one had a good reason to keep in touch with Thorbad Hulzik, and in time, very few even tried. His sister-in-law sent him the occasional letter with news of people he could barely remember, but even that communication was rare. Most of messages to and from his house dealt with his business, writing the weekly proclamation from the Temple of Ariel. These were bulletins nailed on the temple door, community news, sermons, that sort of thing. The first message Gorgos brought him that day was from his healer, reminding him of his appointment on Turdus. Thorbad took a while to write his response, glum and affirmative. He had the Crimson Plague, which he was being treated for at considerable expense. You have to remember these were the days before the School of Restoration had become quite so specialized. It was a dreadful disease and had taken away his voice box. That was why he only communicated by script. The next message was from Alpheus, the secretary at the church, as curt and noxious as ever. Thorbad attached is Sundas's sermon, next week's events calendar, and the obituaries. Try to liven them up a little. I wasn't happy with your last attempt. Thorbad had taken the job putting together the bulletin before Alpheus joined the temple, so his only mental image of her was purely theoretical and had evolved over time. At first he thought of Alpheus as an ugly, fat slowdess covered with warts. More recently, she had mutated into a rail-thin spinster Orcess. Of course, it was possible his clairvoyance was accurate and she had just lost weight. Whatever Alpheus looked like, her attitude towards Thorbad was clear, unwavering disdain. She hated his sense of humor, always found the most minor of misspellings, and considered his structure and calligraphy the worst kind of amateur work. Luckily, working for a temple was the next most secure job to working for the good king of Alinor. It didn't bring in very much money, but his expenses were minimal. The truth was, he didn't need to do it anymore. He had quite a fortune stashed away. but he didn't have anything else to occupy his days. And the truth was further that having little else to occupy his time and thoughts, the bulletin was very important to him. Gorgos, having delivered all the messages, began to clean, and as he did so, he told Tharbad all the news in town. The boy always did so, and Tharbad seldom paid him any attention, but this time he had an interesting report. The Mages Guild had come to Alinor. As Tharbad listened intently, Gorgos told him all about the guild, the remarkable Archmagister, and the incredible tools of alchemy and enchanting. Finally, when the lad had finished, Tharbad scribbled a quick note and handed it and a quill to Gorgos. The note read, "Have them enchant this quill. It will be expensive," said Gorgos. Tharbad gave Gorgos a sizable chunk of the thousands of gold pieces he had saved over the years and sent him out the door. Now, Tharbad decided, he would finally have the ability to impress Alfiers and bring glory to the temple of Ari-El. The way I've heard the story, Gorgos had thought about taking the gold and leaving Alinor, but he had come to care for poor old Tharbad. And even more, he hated Alfiers, who he had to see every day to get his messages for his master. It wasn't perhaps for the best of motivations, but Gorgos decided to go to the guild and get the quill enchanted. The Mages Guild was not then, especially not then, an elitist institution, as I have said, but when the messenger boy came in and asked to use the item maker, he was greeted with some suspicion. When he showed the bag of gold, the attitude melted, and he was ushered in the room. "Now, I haven't seen one of the enchanting tools of old, so you must use your imagination." There was a large prism for the item to be bound with magicka, assuredly, and an assortment of soul gems and globes of trapped energies. Other than that, I cannot be certain how it looked or how it worked. Because of all the gold he gave to the guild, Gorgos could infuse the quill with the highest price soul available, which was something Daedric called Feyfolken. The initiate at the guild, being ignorant, as most guild members were at that time, did not know very much about the spirit, except that it was filled with energy. When Gorgos left the room, the quill had been enchanted to its very limit, and then some. It was virtually quivering with power. Of course, when Tharbad used it, that's when it became clear how over his head he was. "And now," said the great sage, "it's time for your test." "But what happened? What were the quill's powers?" cried Taksim. "You can't stop the tale there," objected Vonguldak. "We will continue the tale after your conjuration test, provided you both perform exceptionally well," said the great sage.
Interesting. What was there? Same charm what I have. Do I have Ondusis? Interesting. where's my magic potions? Oh my god. Claymore, alright. Oh, I was wondering why the heck I was so slow. Oh, it's broken. Fuck. That's not good. That's 5k. I don't have any boots. Oh fuck. Next time I have to take some freaking... What's there? That's some glowing shit over here. Ooh. There we go. Mage Bane. That's a long blade, but we can train for it. What's in here? Wizard stuff. Damn. Levitate. Woo! I'm over encumbered. What I need to drop? What is weighing me down? Let's put this down.
I've heard of you, said the old vagabond, very impressed. Aren't you the adventurer who slew all those ash vampires in Ghostgate a couple of months back? That I am, said Aristian Silverthorn, with a weary smile for his admirer. He knew that his name was not yet legendary, and it was best to be polite. And you are? My name would have no meaning to you, but I'm Darethil, he said, raising a glass of beer. I hail from the region of Ghostgate, which is how I heard your name. Are you on an adventure as you speak? Yes, said Silverthorn, with a grim expression. I'm challenged to rid the Grayslands of a rogue battle mage by the name of Igro Amaro. I've heard of him as well, said Darethil. He is said to be very powerful, an implacable foe. That is why I'm drinking now, sighed Silverthorn. So tell me, what is your profession? I do nothing, said Darethil with some measure of pride. But in my youth, I used to teach the skills of illusion at the University of Gwyn. Perhaps you can help me then, said Silverthorn, suddenly excited. Can you teach the spell Silence? I can certainly pay you. I know that spell, said Darethil. You might find invisibility very helpful as well, or perhaps darkness, which would allow you to sneak up on old Igro Amaro. No, said Silverthorn firmly. I only have time to learn one spell. I have to kill Igro Amaro, collect the award, and be back in Nisus as quickly as possible. My wife worries when I'm away. Darethil agreed, and as the two settled back in their seats at the corner club and tossed back glasses of grief, the old man shared his knowledge of the spell. He explained what it truly meant to bend sound, creating a cone of silence as glass can bend light. He had Silverthorn close his eyes while he tapped the side of his glass, making him picture the sound as the physical entity it was before it was extinguished. The adventurer, after a few hours of instruction, paid the old teacher and set off on his way. In Duragnon, Igro Amaro's stronghold was not far from Sadrith Mora, and he soon saw the blight and ruin that was the battle mage's calling card. Delving into the depths of the ruins, Silverthorn was set upon by the servitors of Igro Amaro, living and undead. With his enchanted ebony blade, he cut through legions before facing the master himself in the desolate main hall. Igro Amaro bowed to his adversary sardonically, and then prepared to unleash a fireball to incinerate him. Before he had uttered the first word of the spell, he suddenly found that all the creaking and sighing of the ruins around him had been stilled. He opened his voice to speak, but there was no sound. Silverthorn took his time, strolling across the length of the hall before dispatching the battle mage with one stroke of his blade. The adventurer rushed back to the tribunal temple where he had received his quest, accepted the gold and the thanks, and was back in his house in Nisus but a few days later. His wife, Lyra, was beside herself with worry. All I could do night after night is toss and turn. I kept imagining you burned to ashes by that battle mage, and where would that leave me? Do we have enough gold that I could support myself if you, since Serin let it not be so, were killed during one of these jaunts? I don't think so. Why couldn't you get a nice position at the Fighters Guild right here in town? I hear they're looking for a trainer for the Imperial Guard. I know. You want a life of adventure and danger and freedom. But if you'd only take one moment to think of me, stuck here all by myself, worrying about you. I suppose you'd like it if I took more of an interest in your work. But it's like I was telling Sir Calissa at Vignum the other day. I said, Calissa, what good is a husband? Lear continued to talk, deaf to the fact that her words were dead before they left her mouth. Silverthorn smiled and nodded his head, enjoying the silence. He could have killed Egro Amaro without the spell, he considered, but he could not have survived his wife.
There's nothing over here, okay. Well, I got the bow. What? Oh, I got it.
Nibani Mesa will speak with you further concerning the Nerevarine prophecies.
I will go and make some food. Then I'm gonna continue the stream.